What's up, guys? It's another life, another day in that life. Ding ding that toy life. And I guess I'll bring in the other guys because we've just been gabbing like gabsters. That old guy. Oh, look out! No sudden movements, guys. This is Ashley and Ray jamming out.
Well, you're going to get copyright strike.
I thought you were listening to Spin Doctors. Oh, never mind. Gosh.
Anyways,
Look at here.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're back with a new episode. Do we want to just jump right into it with the halls real quick before we get to the main?
I mean, dude, I have to be honest because I know we were Hello Joe fan.
Hello Joe fan. I would just say hey to the people in the comments.
So that must mean that he's a fan of GoBots, right?
Probably so.
Yes.
Or mask.
Mask.
Definitely mask.
Probably is though, for real.
Ashley, explain to me what mask was.
I
really don't know. I've always wanted to know because I remember as a kid, especially when I would go to comic shops, I would look for mask comics, and then I'd find mask comics, but it wasn't the mask comics I was looking for because
it
they were
stands
mask
for
comics.
Mobile Armored Strike Command with a K.
Ooh.
Yeah, so basically it's kind of like a ripoff. I'm not saying ripoff. It's kind of like a mixture of G.I. Joe meets Transformers. So each person has like a vehicle that they ride around in this super cool helmet that they put on that helps them give the vehicles superpowers in quotes. So like a motorcycle can turn into a helicopter. They each have their own little transformation thing to make them super powered vehicles. It was
the epitome of 80s.
Yes, it was pretty cool. Yep. So look at there. He started watching Sky Knights.
It's on Tubi.
Mask on Tubi. Yep.
The last bastion of shows that have no home.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we want to do hauls real quick? I got one new thing. I'm kind of excited about. I need to open it up.
Get it up, Ray.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. This just came in this week. I got The Last Stand Spider-Man.
Wow. No, dude, that actually looks really good.
Nice.
Like I never knew about this. I never knew about this design until the Spider-Man 2018 game from Insomniac, and because that was one of the unlockable costumes, and I love that design. And then I found out a little bit about what it was. And then I saw that there's a figure coming up. So yeah, I got it. So that's me. That's literally all I have. It's just that. That's it.
Well,
that's it.
No, what's crazy is like I thought, I was discussing it with my wife. I'm like, what? I didn't get any toys. And then I thought, I got like ultimate toys, like adult, I was about to say it, not going to get there.
You got adult toys.
You said that.
Whoa.
I didn't say it. Ray said it. No, I was going to say I got special toys for me.
Okay. So, that doesn't sound any better.
Yeah, it doesn't. And let's look. It's going to have white stuff involved, and so just roll with that too.
Okay.
And so obviously not this weekend coming up. I mean, I think that's a Kong versus Godzilla, or the Kong X Godzilla's coming up. But last weekend we had a big release for me in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I was super, super, super excited about it.
Did Bustin' make you feel good?
And I'm sorry?
Did Bustin' make you feel good?
Oh, dude, it made me feel really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, but before I get into the thoughts on the movie and all that, I was like, you know what? This is, I didn't really participate too much in the theater run last time. I mean, I watched it in theaters, but I didn't buy merch or anything. So I had some awesome merch, and I'm like, at first, look, they had these cool sippers, and they're huge cups that you can get from Now I'm going to start. This is AMC because there were apparently several theaters with different variations of all kinds of stuff. So AMC is selling these sippers for $20 a pop. Well, $19.99. Yeah, it comes with a cool rubber. I didn't realize thought it was going to be a plastic red straw, but it's a rubber red straw that it comes with. But I still have it in the pack, and it's a rotatable head. You can pop it off, and rotate it around depending on your liking or keep. But it's got like the little innocent, like, oh, I didn't do anything face, and then you've got the like up to no good face.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, no, I thought this was really cool. I mean, it's cute for kids and all. I mean, I think it's more of a collectible than kid. I mean, kids are probably, it's real big, so I could see kids being hard for them to hang on to it unless they like just hugged it and sipped it, which it's fine too. I mean, but it's adorable, and I mean, it's a little thin and cheap. It's not like it's super crazy or anything. I mean, but I would say it's not worth $20 though. They should have went with a more, maybe like a $15 range, like $14.99 probably would.
They knew they could get that money from you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And no, I thought that was really cute. And so I had taken a trip to Jacksonville and looked around, and while me and my wife were there, we went. I didn't know that there were other theaters there, but we had to go to Jacksonville for a day, and there. While I was there, I'm like, not only do they have an AMC, they had a Cinemark and they had a Regal. And we used to have a Regal in our town, but now that closed down. All we have is one AMC and then some other kind of rando out of town chains. But yeah, so we looked around and the Regal, I think the Regal had some cups. Like they had sold out of because they had a special popcorn bucket, but they were sold out. They had some like the tin popcorn buckets that were pretty cool. That had the Dylan on them. They had T-shirts and everything. But they had mainly it was like cup toppers. So basically, imagine like a Ghostbusters style plastic cup, and then the lid has like have like different toys, like a little mini puffed, or a Slimer, or a RV ghost trap. I mean, a RC ghost trap, or I believe. Oh, and a no ghost, a 3D no ghost thing. And so, not only that, but so that was all at Regal. So then we made it over to Cinemark, and this is where I found the popcorn bucket that me and my wife just had to have, which was the big Slimer bucket. I mean, it looks really cool. Bright there. Yeah, it's actually a little bit darker green. Like when you throw light on it, it lights up. Kind of has that lighter color, but it's really a darker green. It looks really cool, and it's a cool translucent color. I'm not a big fan of the Cinemark logo and stuff on the front, but at the same time, I'm just like, whatever. AMC was supposed to sell a variant of this where it didn't have a bucket. It was just a Slimer with his belly and everything, and the mouth, and the popcorn was just inside of Slimer. But the first round, I think they had sold it on the site for a really. I don't know if it glows. I don't think it really glows, but you can shine light through it if you wanted. You probably could set it on some sort of a LED stand or something like that, and it would look really cool. But
it'd make for a good Halloween decoration.
Yeah. And this is going to be a Halloween decoration. Yeah. We're going to put candy in him. Like, I just haven't taken him out of the bag.
I don't think she'll fit in there.
Yeah, we're gonna put him in there. She's just gonna pop out of the Cinemark thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're gonna put all kinds of treats in here for him to eat, but I think it's gonna be for the inside. We're not gonna let the kids get a hold of him. But no, I don't know. We had to have him, and what's crazy is I hate to say this, but these are supposed to be $20. But thanks Cinemark, for some reason you sold them to us for $14.99 a pop.
Oh, sweet,
nice deal.
Yeah, no, but actually, I think it was like there was just one of them. I think they just accidentally sold us the wrong thing. I think it's because it was the Kong versus Godzilla thing and all that. So, but anyway, so was at Cinemark and they had all of that. But what I didn't say is that the day of, like, the premiere, the Ghostbusters premiere, that morning, I went to the AMC and was first in line, because there were people piling up to get them, and got the Ghost Trap popcorn bucket from AMC. Regal did sell a version of theirs, but it's on comparison, there's some positives and negatives, but this one to me was by far the way better choice. And yeah. I mean, it's really neat. I mean, look, it's not complete to detail. There's some stuff that's just sort of a glaze over, and they didn't really put any labels. Like, there's usually some stickers and stuff here along with the knobs, but this is really cool. I mean, the knobs can move; they just don't do anything. You can just kind of shift them around, and but the rusting and stuff like that they have in the wear, in the metallic. This looks like metal. The popcorn bucket at Regal, it all looks straight black and silver. It's all plastic looking, and that's it. And it's just a deeper trap to hold some popcorn in the trap. This one has this popcorn bucket, and so what happens is you can actually, and it's real simple. It's just basically like little grooves inside here that just kind of with friction or whatever holds it in place. But you can just pop this out.
Oh, okay.
And you have the separate bucket, and then boom, you have
just a prop ghost trap.
Now you've got a Halloween.
Oh, that actually closes. Okay, I thought it was just going to stay open.
Yeah, it closes. It has like, I guess, some notches, like some little holes or whatever in here. It clicks open and closed. You probably you can hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and it's got an LED light in there. So if you, the switch is under. That's another thing that's cool is I love the detail under the.
I got to give it to AMC that they've that this has been a weird new thing that they've been doing. For the last. It feels like it's been at least a year, because I know last year, we got the Dungeons and Dragons dice bucket, and that was
I would have gotten that.
Yeah, we got super lucky. But,
and the Optimus Prime bucket I thought was impressive. But definitely that dice bucket. Yeah. I was like, that's just, and then when you or your wife was like, I just want to put dice in this. That's perfect. It's a dice bucket to hold dice.
And then we all know about, just a few weeks ago we had the whole the Dune, the Shai Hulud bucket.
Oh yeah.
That made waves just on look alone. But no. Yeah.
AMC though, everybody is, but AMC for sure. I think they're ahead of the game. But I don't know if you can notice too, in the bucket there's a no ghost.
No, I see that
print in the thing, and it's really nice too on both. It's on both sides.
I thought it was just stained when I saw it.
Really, it's really cool. Yeah, and it's really cool how it just clicks right in. It clicks right in, and look, see, like. It ain't going anywhere. So it just turns into a bucket,
that is cool.
And it's got the LED lights, so I can turn it on.
Oh, so it lights up.
Yeah. So it's got the.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. So you can also just use it like so. If you kind of look, it's almost like I've got spirits in here, guys. Need to put like a smoke effect thing in there.
Don't look at the trap.
Yeah. Don't look at the trap. Ray. Yeah. The only, and I will call this out myself, and it's the only gripe, I guess you would call it, because other than that, I think this is. I will say it was a 30. Oh Lord, $39.99, 30.
That sounds about right. The
right? Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. I've probably got the receipt. Yeah, it was 35 to 40 anyway, but it was the only thing, and I'll call it out. I'm a Ghostbusters fanatic. The trap is a little bit incorrect. I love the design, but technically these should be one side should be reversed. You could pick, but it's actually supposed to be one solid line going down each side. So
so it's one of the symmetry. You're such a nerd.
I think
but it's such a Ghostbusters nerd.
I'm sorry, Ray. What's that?
Just saying that it's probably just.
I said Ray, not Ashley. Shut up.
Yeah, I said
that's what I was thinking. I was like, it's probably either a symmetry thing or just kind of a tiny oversight. That is, to me, would be a very easy mistake to make, because to me it looks like arrows, like it's caution tape on both sides, but also kind of arrowing. But dude, I'm telling you though, this right here without the bucket on it is just perfect. For prop like people want to. Oh, and by the way, the wheels on the bottom. I didn't think this thing would be able to roll, because the last AMC bucket was an Ecto 1 from the first Afterlife movie, and it didn't roll. That was what was crazy, was the wheels didn't roll. So I thought, oh, that's kind of lame. So I was kind of expecting this one to kind of have a similar thing where they're just going to be like, oh, we're not going to let the wheels be functional. Nope, fully functional. And this thing, if you put it, I put it on hardwood floor and it'll roll pretty good. But put it on some like thin carpet, this thing will take off like butter. It's like, shoo. But yeah. Awesome collector's item for people. If you got a hold of it, congratulations, because this was a nifty popcorn bucket that really got me excited, and I took it to the movie and ate out of it and everything. Had a great experience. But anyway, that's all I got for hauls. Ashley, you any hauls?
Yeah, I got something.
What you got?
Let me see how I'm gonna get this. So
I'm gonna get this. How him gone?
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Well, this week I got this.
Wow. You dirty dog.
And my earbuds fell out trying to get this thing up, so I can't hear you at all, but I can still talk.
He had to kick a lot of kids down some stairs for those.
Put it up like a boom box.
Yeah, rock it like a boom box.
Yeah, there we go. I can hear you now.
Yeah, tell him again, Ray. How did you think you got that?
I said you probably had to kick a bunch of kids down some stairs to get them.
I did. I did kick a bunch of kids down some stairs to get no. Actually, I traded my Marvel Sentinel for that.
Really?
Yeah, my HasLab Sentinel. But I think it was worth it. I think it was worth it to get that.
Nice.
It's heavy.
I can see how. Now I will say I would have shed a tear a little bit because I love those Sentinels.
Yeah, cool. They look good. They look good, but I don't know. Oh, and I also got this Legacy animated Prowl right here. I would get him out, but
he's too far away.
He's too far away.
You can't force pull it. That would be so cool. If we could just reach like shit. Got it. You know what though? You know what? I will say I do have one other thing I found that y'all would probably get a kick out of, and I meant to bring it up and I forgot. Let me just pull it down off the shelf. I think I showed on a previous episode. Like I had found this old McDonald's Batman toy. Well, I still have it. I found it in the pack, and I've got the stuff from it. But I found the Batmobile the other day.
Oh, sweet!
And so it's got. I mean, it had never been opened, and I don't even know if it ever been closed. So I was able. I mean, this thing is hard. I mean, you could shoot. I mean, it's like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the front comes off. Yeah.
Yeah, the front comes off like that, and it really fires off really good. So it's like brand spanking new. It's insane because I used to play. This was like a must when I was a kid. I played with this toy all the time, so it's great to kind of have that to go on the shelf with the other stuff. But yeah, that's all my hauls. But I will say, yeah. That's right. You did a tour of the convention, didn't you?
No, I don't know if they're talking about that one. Or it was Atlanta, or they're talking about the room
of just
tour.
Your room. Yes, right. Yeah, you did do both.
Yeah, I did.
Well, all your camera work is good, by the way. So it's
thank you. I try.
It's always good. And look, and then when he turns into like news mode, you should just on the side. You should what do they call it? Moonlight as a news reporter. But that's your thing is you wear like the those trench coats, like the brown trench coats like that. And you always do the turnaround. You're like, this just in.
You gotta also do it in a transatlantic accent. You know the whole look at this on the shelf over here. Spider-Man.
I would need a cameraman to help me with that. Yeah.
Tonight at 800. No. Wait, that's today. Never mind. Anyways, I'm dumb. But you know what? Before we move on to anything else, speaking of Ghostbusters weekend, dude, I had a blast watching that movie. By the way, if y'all haven't seen it yet,
no spoilers. No spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil anything. Here's my thing: if y'all haven't seen much of the trailers or whatever, just stop. I mean, I just feel like, just watch the movie without any of it because I feel like sometimes they put too much in trailers, and so just go see the movie. And go give it some support because it deserves it. And this is one of those times I have to kind of give a tiny little rant. It's one of those movies where you don't see it a whole lot, but you'll see this split where the critics just kind of like, and they just really are not vibing with the movie or not into it. But the audience score is high. People are like, loved it, had fun with it. I think probably the last Transformers movie may be a good example of that or something. I don't know. I just felt like maybe the critics are more just, but people are like, I liked it, and I did. I really enjoyed it. But no, this movie in particular. If you enjoyed number one, if you are a Ghostbusters fan, you will love this movie. If you are, if you're looking for a fun movie, you should love this movie. It's got a little bit of everything, just like the original Ghostbusters did. And it just, to me, it's just, you don't take too much into it. Don't take any baggage into it. Don't expect the world from it. Just go in there and have a fun hour and 50 or hour and 40. It's not that much. And to me, it is a solid movie. Now, I will say it is a lot of things crammed into that movie, but it's in a good way. I mean, it's like they want to put so much. They want to give so much of that universe, but there is a lot going on. But the overall story, loved it. And but something is off. I don't know with the critics. They're just, and some of the I would say like the nerd side critics, you know. I even was watching. I haven't finished it, but I even watched the Red Letter Media review of it, and they're more fair with it, with their critiques. But I still disagree with a lot of what they say. Yeah. But it's also, they're more biased because they didn't like the last movie, but they say this is better than the last movie.
Yeah. I mean,
to them. So to me, that tells you a whole lot. Yeah. That means you should love it.
the standard they really hold stuff to is, like, in my opinion, like, because if you ever watch their 2016 review, they really go over like why the comedy of the original Ghostbusters works so well. Because it's not improvised comedy and stuff like that. It's meticulously written out jokes that are planned out, and they pay off later on, stuff like that. Instead of just people just kind of sitting around making riffing jokes back and forth constantly.
Right.
So they're very, they could be picky too, but it's
for sure.
It's more, they're very well versed in movie making and stuff like that.
Right. They give I would say, if you were to listen to any critic, if in terms of just giving it not negative, but more of a neutral or a different perspective, I appreciated theirs a lot more because they were, and plus, if you know their history with the first movie, but the other critics, it just feels like it's almost this agenda. And I've seen here's the three things I can't stand is just the overall, like, this movie is it panders to the fans. There's no story that there's no humor. Everybody seems bored. Blah blah blah. Like, none of that could be further from the truth.
Well, dude, I'll say this: negativity drives sales. It gets the clicks, especially like if you're looking at YouTube stuff. For sure. Oh, you got if you're negative, like, oh, Lucasfilm did it again,
right?
And you look at the video, it's got like 100,000 views, and you're like, what?
Hey, part of the negativity is driving the main topic we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
If you get mad, right? But if you get mad at the whole thing about, like, another one is people go, or a big compliment is that it's like a big real Ghostbusters episode.
Yeah,
it's like a really big
series.
And I'm like, that's the biggest compliment you can give it. Mm-hmm. And then some people, I mean, I don't think really people have used that as a negative, but some people have kind of gone, it's kind of like the Red Letter Media guys are like, it's kind of like a real Ghostbusters cartoon episode, and they say that in sort of a, like, that's kind of a good thing, it's at least got
different,
a lot of that. And but my thing is there's this slant that I'm seeing some people going with, where they're like, Ghostbusters has lost its way. It doesn't understand what made the original special, or how the original worked. And then their reasoning is, it's just complete, like, they don't understand how the first movie worked. And I'm like, what? And so yeah, so a lot of this, I don't know, it's starting to feel like, I know this is beating a dead horse, where you have to just say you got to block out the negative critics and stuff. But it does start to feel like this is one of those examples where, when people have agendas, it starts to get odd, where you're sort of you feel like you're in crazy town, where you're being gaslit from everywhere, because it really doesn't make sense. But that's kind of my end of the rant. It's just it's one of those where I could understand if I seen a point of view where I'm like, okay, I see where they're coming from. Like, the only complaint I can see that people that they try to throw at it is, there's a lot of stuff in it. I'm like, no, it's a lot of good stuff. I mean, you've got the essential story and all that's going on, but just in terms of world building and Ghostbusters lore, you got that. And yeah, you have a million characters you're following, but to me, they gave everybody so much attention and time, and love. I mean, yeah, some people may have gotten a little shortchanged here and there, but I don't know. It had a great flow. I even turned and looked at my wife because she's real critical. She liked Afterlife. She thought it was pretty good. She ain't all about it like I was. She watched this one and she was like, I loved this one. This was even better, like way better than Afterlife to me. And yeah, because it's fun. It's fun. And other than that, I just don't think you need to try and want everything out of it. Like it's not going to be a perfect movie. And by God, I mean, there's some stuff I can point out too, but not much. And if anything, it looks like it's been trimmed a lot. Like it looks like there was a lot of cuts. So I bet there's probably a longer cut. And I think the director even mentioned that the deleted scenes were very special, that he will include them on some future set. So I don't know. It'd be cool if they had some sort of director's cut. It wouldn't surprise me with all that was in it. I'm sure there was so much cut out, so much. But anyway, yeah, I had great time, and I think now we're going to go back and watch Godzilla X Kong and more Ghostbusters, so we can support both. I want both to I want them both to succeed and have attention, and I just want people to go to the movies and have fun. Movies has been sucking lately, man.
Well, you didn't like Dune Part 2?
That's kind of I feel like that's sort of the first time I'd gone into the movies and felt excited to go see a movie in a good while. To be honest, was Dune Part 2.
I almost wonder if there is something, not something going on, but like trending where it's been this way since the pandemic happened. But it does feel like movie going definitely isn't a thing people race to do as much as they, it has to be something big. I think Dune 2 managed to get the hype it needed, behind it. And I don't know, it's just something I'm waiting to see. Like, I'm hoping that Godzilla does well, and I'm hoping Ghostbusters does pretty well. Ghostbusters, I saw, only had like $100 million budget, I believe.
Because the last one, the last one was 70. This one was up to 100.
Yeah. So but that's only what they report. Yeah, because there could be more when it comes to like marketing and stuff. But
I feel like this one was more limited, or in some ways, it felt like they leaned more into the theater stuff. So I wonder how much that costs.
Yeah, but the rule of thumb with success for any movie is it has to at least make double its budget, I believe.
Right.
Is usually the kind of the unwritten rule to be considered a success. And so I hope they do well. I've noticed both movies don't have a giant budget. I think Godzilla X Kong is only like 130 million, which I mean it's not compare it to the Flash, which was like what 250 million, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't look like it, but it was like a huge budget, huge budget. But, and I don't think those movies really should, like Kong and stuff like that. They really shouldn't have a huge budget.
I mean, Godzilla -1 was 15 million, I think.
And they just won an Oscar. Congratulations, by the way. God,
I still haven't watched it. I need to watch it.
Me and my wife both are obsessed with trying to watch this movie. My wife is dying to see it too. She loves the Godzilla movies. But that one came out in theaters real, limited here in the States. Mm-hmm. And I think it was only for a few days and it was gone. Yeah. So I don't know. I want to catch it. I wish I could have seen it in theaters, but we are going to see it. But I want to see the new one, the new Kong X Godzilla. I feel like there's another movie coming that pretty soon that we need to check out. What's on the horizon?
Deadpool.
I do want to see the Deadpool. Twisters is the next big one I'm excited for. Later on in the year, that's going to be really cool.
I think that's the only thing I've ever seen with Glenn Powell in that I have any interest in watching. It's like every time I see him, I'm just like, huh.
Yeah, dude, he's
but this good. One is like, okay, it looks fun enough. I'm gonna go watch it. He's perfect. He does look like he's trying to vibe like a little bit of he's trying to give off a Bill Paxton vibe.
Yeah, pretty much. I was gonna say I'm interested to see how he is in this one because I don't normally see him in that kind of role.
Yeah.
But he looked pretty great in the trailer, so I'm like, I'm gonna give him a chance. But he may be horrible in the movie. But I'm not that big a fan of him. But I actually liked him in
Sydney
Not
Sweeney.
Top Gun. The top no that I mean that movie was like whatever. It was kind of I mean it was
That's the only thing I can
decent
think
watch.
of recently.
Yeah, but no, I was gonna say he was really good in Top Gun Maverick. He suited his role. He was perfect in what he did. And so other than that, you know, I don't hate the guy, but I don't know. I don't really follow him that much of him. But yeah, I was gonna look up and see how much Ghostbusters even made.
I think I've only seen like 70.
Yeah, I was going to say I know the weekend closed at like 70 or something like that. Yeah.
What was it, Ashley?
You talking about Afterlife or the first one?
Oh, the new one.
The original. Yeah.
Oh man, can you remember the original wave of like that storm chasing and stuff like that? And they would have programs on TV more. You'd see about like Twisters and.
I remember
stage. I mean, it was all the time.
There was the direct-to-TV, the direct-to-video movie that was a mockbuster to try to get people to come rent it because it seemed similar to Twister. It was Tornado, starring Drew Campbell. I mean, not Bruce Campbell. I mean,
Bruce Campbell.
Drew Campbell. Bruce Campbell. Yeah,
it's a tornado, baby.
But
Night of the Twisters.
Oh yeah,
that was a Devin Sawa movie.
That was was based on a young adult, like a kid's chapter book. Yeah, it was based on a novel because I had to read that in grade school.
I did too.
Yeah, we watched it. Yeah, it was one of those movies like we read the book and then we watched the movie adaptation as like a reward. It's like, oh, now we can watch the movie version. Oh, cool! Two classes, like we get to do 2 days worth of classes just watching a movie.
Man. I know one thing with the new Twisters movie. I guess they can't do Van Halen, but they better. I don't. They need to. I hope they hit up Wolfie, Van Halen's kid, to do the music or something. Because in the first Twister movie, that was like Eddie Van Halen doing some of the music that's in the score, and then they did. And Van Halen contributed a song. Like the band, they contributed a song to the movie, and then there's like an instrumental track that Van Halen did or Eddie Van Halen put on there, but. It was just crazy. And me and my wife both, and it's funny. She loved all that music and didn't even know it was really Van Halen. She was just like, "Oh, that's that Shine On song from Twister. I love that song." and so I'm like, "Yeah, it's Van Halen. Or Van Hagar. Excuse me. That was the Van Hagar death rap." Yeah. But anyway.
So, main topic tonight, because I thought of this because I saw reactions to the newest episode of Star Wars: The Bad Batch, which was the big
everybody's
event.
Seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. Well,
yes,
kind of a spoiler alert, but a character from the Clone Wars returns, Asajj Ventress, and if you didn't know anything about anything outside of the TV shows like the Clone Wars or Bad Batch, you would probably think, oh, okay, so she's back from the Clone Wars, so she's alive. But no, if you have people that there are certain people, if you're really into deep into the Star Wars lore and you read the books that are that are part of the canon. There was a book
talking about me.
Me too.
Me are certain people,
but some people that are into this lore kind of got mad about this because there was a book called Dark Disciple.
Yep.
That she was one of the main characters, and the big thing that happened was she died toward the end of the book, and so people were like, "Well, she was dead. So why are they? How can they bring her back?" And they don't really explain it, and I think they've even said, it's a story for another time that they'll explain. And I'm fine with that. I mean,
me too.
For anybody who's watched the Clone Wars, it doesn't mess up anything. They referenced, she had her little line of I have other lives or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and plus it was a book. So it's as much as, I loved that book and it's a bummer that they do. It does kind of, puts a little bit of a damper on the mood with the story, because I love it was a really cool full circle story for Asajj in the book. But look, it was a book, and now if they get if they can keep using her, I'm fine with that as long as they acknowledge that what happened in the book happened and they explain it. That's my only.
It sounds like they've acknowledged it because she's definitely not the same person we saw in Clone Wars. You know,
No, for sure, for sure. And so I'm sure they'll make, because I mean my biggest thing is her story, her link to Voss, to Quinlan Voss. And so I'm sure that they're probably trying to come up with some good plans for that, because he's still alive, he's still out there, and they mention him in the Obi-Wan series. So it just seems like they're dancing around with something there. So I feel like that's how they're gonna touch on what happened in the book.
But they didn't totally like bring her back and not say anything. I mean, they gave you this little breadcrumb at the very end where she says something like
I have other lives or something like that.
I have plenty of lives left or something like that. Yeah.
So well, plus she's part of the Dathomir witches, man. They always be dying and coming back, and coming back. You know what I'm saying? So she's all right.
Yeah, that's a good point. But that got me thinking, because people get mad now. I've noticed, like, if a character dies and comes back, because there's a sentiment now, and I almost want to say it goes back to Max Landis and his little retelling of the Superman Die storyline. Have you ever seen this?
No.
Okay. Anyways, but he just does kind of like, he gets a bunch of his actor friends, and they kind of like just go through retelling of the events of Superman of the death of Superman, and he kind of gets to this point at the end, is like, it was that after that time, DC didn't know what to do, so they brought him back. It's like, and that was the time it was at that moment that death started not mattering anymore in comics. And then he did this whole thing where shit, like all the characters who had previously died in comics in DC and Marvel, who were now back now after Superman was brought back. And that's kind of brought the sentiment I've noticed of that people like freak out anytime a character comes back from the dead, thinking like, oh, the stakes don't matter anymore. Death doesn't matter in these stories anymore. Anybody can come back. That happens in Star Wars now. If one person comes back, death doesn't matter anymore in Star Wars. So I started thinking, I looked back through DC, like the DCEU movies, and I looked back through the Marvel movies, and I looked through Star Wars, like through mainly the movies and the shows. And I saw who died and who stayed dead.
Oh, sweet. Okay. You did some research.
I did. I can go through all of them, but it's only if y'all want to. Or we could just stick with one of them. Star Wars was the longest one.
I say go with whatever. We can do I say go random. I mean, if you want to go,
I'm gonna go category by category, because I had them all like categorized.
Okay.
But anyways, I'll start with DC. That's the shortest one by far, because it's the least amount of characters, least amount of movies.
Okay.
So first off, there's the big one, Superman. But do we count that as a death? Because I started doing this as a criteria, because there are two different kind of deaths when we're talking about the deaths that are resurrected. There are the ones that are planned ahead, where they're obviously planned ahead, like the death of Superman in Batman v Superman. And then there are the kinds that are not planned, but they're opportunities to bring someone back, even though they've died before, and they just have to come up with some way to bring them back. That's the kind of criteria I looked at, of like, if a character died and they came back, what were the circumstances? And anyways, Superman was planned. Zod, he died. He was reused in Batman v Superman, but dead.
That's a multiverse thing, though. So he was
what?
Zod. So he came back in a different. You said Zod.
I was talking again, Man of Steel. He died in Man of Steel.
But he came back in the Flash. But it was like
that doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't.
Yeah, that's a multiverse thing.
Yeah, that doesn't kind of. So I'm only referring to him in terms of Man of Steel. Now, when I said brought back, I was thinking of he was kind of resurrected as Doomsday in Batman v Superman, but not really. But so he died. No, Steppenwolf died. Obviously, Steve Trevor was an interesting one, because
weird.
I don't know what to think of that, because he definitely he did die, but they did the weird body possession thing in 1984.
Yeah, let's not talk.
But yes, move on from that. And the only other character I really noticed that died, but did stay dead, was Antiope from Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Now, she was seen again in a flashback for 84 in that little prologue sequence, but the character was dead. So that's that. I haven't watched. I know something that happens in Aquaman Lost Kingdom, but I'm not going to count that right now. It doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on to Marvel. So I'm only going by big characters now.
So you're talking movies, right?
Yeah, these are just movies,
Okay,
or the Marvel TV series, if like the the live action ones.
But it's all in the MCU.
Yeah, this is all part of the MCU.
Okay.
And these are only going to involve like main characters, like either like the main villain or one of the main heroes.
Yep. Okay.
So Obadiah Stane, he died, and he is still dead. No,
okay.
I'm saying he is still dead.
Okay.
Well, what I'm looking at here is how often does someone actually come back? Because people say that death doesn't matter. People are anybody can die and they can always come back.
I got you.
But how often does it actually happen?
Yeah.
Ivan Vanko, Iron Man 2, still dead. Aldrich Killian, still dead. Red Skull vanished. He's just living on another planet, and he's not Hugo Weaving.
No, he's Walking Dead guy.
Loki is still dead. The original timeline Loki is dead.
Yeah.
And now, according to current knowledge, he is dead. You could look at you could theorize. There could be the conspiracy theory stuff. There was the Loki in oh god, the one that was at the end of time, who did say he conjured the greatest god. How did he describe it? He basically said, he tricked Thanos into thinking he was dead. So someone could say like, oh, what if he did do that? But as far as everybody knows, Loki, the original timeline Loki is dead.
Dead. Yep.
Malekith from Thor: The Dark World, dead. I missed this character, but I had to go back and remember. Phil Coulson. As far as we know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't really count anymore. So he's dead still. Bucky. Now, Bucky, he did die, but that was a planned death because when Sebastian Stan signed on, he signed on for like 9 picture appearances. So that wasn't that was one that he was planned to come back.
Well, he came back in the comics too. That's where the whole thing
obviously, Groot.
He's dead.
But I will say, it doesn't matter too much in comics because the soap opera nature of it, and everybody wants to bring their characters back that they want to use. But I will say, I do see it all the time. People do try to apply it to the movies these days. Anytime someone's being brought back to do anything, people immediately jump on to say, no, everybody, nobody dies anymore in movies. Groot, which is interesting. James Gunn confirmed, the original Groot in the first Guardians, he did die. The Groot we see from Volume 2 on is basically like a new Groot, new personality and everything.
But it's almost like a reboot reset early, where we got to see him as an old man first, and then start over as a kid. So it's sort of the same. So it's a cheat, but I dig it, and I can count it as a death.
Yeah. Ultron. He died. Last one was eliminated, and there's been no hints at him surviving in any way. Quicksilver. They never tried. They did a tasteless joke in WandaVision, but he stayed dead. They never actually brought him back.
Did we say Whiplash already?
Huh?
Have we said Whiplash already?
Whiplash, yeah. Ivan Vanko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry.
From Ant-Man, Darren Cross. I want to say this. Darren Cross is going to fall into that category of he was dead, and then they decided, oh, we can do something with this. Let's just figure out a way to bring him back, because they brought him back in Quantumania as MODOK.
Yeah, I am Groot.
So that was. So I would put that. I don't think that was planned at all. I think that was something someone saw an opportunity and thought, we can bring it back. But it was only a one-off thing. It wasn't because he's dead again.
So weird.
Yeah, it was bizarre. Anyways.
I think that's a good word to describe that. Bizarre.
Yeah. The Ancient One, she's still dead. When she reappeared in the game, that was in the past, so that doesn't count. So she is still dead. Caecilius, still dead. right? I believe Yondu, and this is the thing I've noticed. James Gunn is very adamant about. So be prepared for DCU stuff. When a character dies, most likely they're going to stay dead in that movie universe now. Because he likes, he's very adamant about making death matter in his stories. So anytime a character dies, he really doesn't intend to bring them back. Odin, he's dead. The Warriors 3, dead. Heimdall, dead. Hela, dead. The Ragnarok knocked a lot of people off the board. What were you gonna say something?
Heimdall, he's dead, but
he's in Valhalla. But that was a cameo. We don't know what's going to happen from there. Though.
Yeah.
But as far as we know right now, he
dead.
In afterlife. The Eric Killmonger still dead. His cameo was a little spiritual one in Wakanda Forever. Gamora, the Gamora we met in Guardians 1 and 2, she died. She's not. I don't think she's. I don't think there's any chance of her coming back. The Gamora we see now, if we ever see her again, because I think Zoe Saldana says she doesn't intend to play her, or she doesn't have plans to play her again anytime soon.
Yeah, I guess they should. I don't think she should. I think, I think that I loved her performance in the third movie to distinguish the fact that this is not Gamora, or this is not our Gamora. She is gone.
Yeah,
and in itself,
it was
really
a nice
sad.
It was a melancholy little storyline she had because she was trying to find her place in this world that knew her as someone else, and she had to find. She had to find her own place there within it.
And she really looked like, you get what I'm saying? How they, in a lot of movies too, it'll be like, I'm darker and all this kind of, she really, to me, she didn't look or seem that much different, but she was just different. She just wasn't the same person.
She carried herself.
I loved it.
She carried her. I think she carried herself a little more stiff. Like she was back in the first movie. And she, by Infinity Game, she was much more relaxed.
Right. Yeah. Like that's true. She's more of a brute.
Yeah. You just think about it like this. The first time you see her, she's standing, very, stiff at attention, because she's, I think it's something to do with Thanos. Is that the first time we see her was with Thanos?
The first time you see her is in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's
she was with
the first
Roland?
scene in that movie.
No, she
was, I think, with Thanos. Her and the sister.
But anyways,
her and her sister were fighting somewhere.
But anyways, like comparing it to the first time you see her in Infinity War, she's like singing along, vibing to the music. So to continue, Vision, he did die, and he is a machine technically, and he was brought back in WandaVision. So
he's a machine.
Yeah, so it may or may not count, but
I wouldn't count him.
Yeah, and that's more to come, anyways, with what's going on with the White Vision. Black Widow, as far as we know, she is still dead.
Yep, she's dead.
Iron Man, still dead.
Stop it.
Mysterio, still dead.
Yeah.
Aunt May, still dead.
Dead. What a waste.
Uncle Ben will never not be dead. In the MCU, Uncle Ben he was never even seen.
Yeah.
As far as
you know what? I'm annoyed with dead people staying dead, Ray. How about that?
As far as we know, Scarlet Witch is dead. According to Elizabeth Olsen, she believed that she perished when she dropped the
mountain
on top of herself. Now that's not to say she can't come back somehow in the future, because Marvel has their own story group and plans for whatever they're doing. But as far as we all know, she is dead. That looked pretty definitive, but you never know. The Mandarin from Shang-Chi, he is dead. Yep. Zhu Wenwu. Jane Foster kind of is dead. She's in the Heimdall situation, where she is dead, but they did their little afterlife cameo thing to kind of hint maybe they're going to do something later on. T'Challa,
sweet child of mine.
Yeah. T'Challa. Unfortunately, that was terrible circumstances. But yeah, the character T'Challa is dead. Weirdly though, is Ramonda, which I felt was something that was probably in their original script, and then they decided to keep it in after Chadwick passed away. Monica Rambeau did not vanish. Or, I mean, she did not die. She vanished. She went to another world.
Dimension, universe, whatever.
Maria Rambeau, she passed away. But there is an alternate version of her from the other universe.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one I have for Marvel MCU currently is Talos.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Ben Mendelsohn's
a good character.
Yep. He was good.
Good character.
Okay. On to Star Wars. So this was the big one where, people have been kind of, I think ever since the Palpatine stuff happened, people had kind of got a bad taste about life and death in Star Wars. So let's go through this. Who was stayed dead and who was cheated death somehow?
It can't be that many people. It's Star Wars. Man.
That's a full page.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
2 columns. Qui-Gon Jinn, still dead.
Dead.
Darth Maul brought back, but there was a very worthy storyline. But it ended with him dying. He died in Rebels.
Yeah, he's dead now.
He is dead now, but his original death was not a death. Yeah. Jango Fett was still dead. Kiadi-Mundi dead.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we got a ton of Jedi.
No, I didn't put too many Jedi. I put big name ones. Aayla Secura dead.
I was going to say most of them dead, but like
big named ones, like those are the ones I mainly pulled out for the episode 3 deaths. Count Dooku dead. Egan Kolar dead. Sassy 10 dead. Kit Fisto, unfortunately for me, dead. Mace Windu, as far as we know, he's dead. Of course, as much as Samuel L. Jackson is trying, he's still dead.
He's trying.
He's trying.
His is more plausible or understandable to come back since we didn't really see that kind of a body. But
if they did ride in him somehow surviving, he has a more believable chance of surviving than say Dooku suddenly coming back.
Right. Well, even Dooku, I could see surviving something like that because they could just force land on a speeder, huh?
I'll say Dooku would have to be clooned. Remember,
of course, yeah. At age, yeah. No, unless he starts drinking baby blood.
Padme still dead. Wait, did I say Plo Koon?
No.
Okay, yeah, Plo Koon still dead. Even though they did there was a weird behind the scenes story that for Mandalorian season 2 where this for people on set, so the leak wouldn't come out. People thought it was going to be Kit Fisto was going to be revealed as the Jedi, not Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Plo Koon.
Plo Koon.
Yeah. Who did I say?
Kit Fisto.
It would have been so cool. But anyways, I saw the name down there. I think the guy commented, and anyways, Grand Inquisitor from Rebels, dead. We did see him again in Obi-Wan Kenobi, but by the time
he died in Obi-Wan Kenobi and then came back. Yeah. And then he's still alive and then dies again.
Then he dies again in Rebels, the final death.
Rebels.
Kanan Jarrus. And that was an important death. That one, like Filoni and Freddie Prinze teaming up to make sure that happened. Obi-Wan Kenobi. He did die, even though he came back as a ghost to kind of give wisdom. Everybody who died on the Death Star, which was the big names were like Tarkin, Wolf Yularen, and they never nothing ever happened with them. None of them suddenly miraculously appeared and escaped. Like, I got on a ship in the last minute. And
Darth Vader.
Yeah. Well, I'm not to Vader yet. Bail Organa. Every time we've seen him since then, it's always prequels, it's before anyways.
Yeah.
But so no resurrection for him. This was more of a joke one, but Dak never came back from the dead.
No, well, he got smushed.
He got smashed. He's a human popsicle now.
What's left of him?
Yeah. Jabba the Hutt, still dead. Yoda, still dead.
Mm.
We'll get through
That's
this.
not fair. We saw a full live there now.
Boba Fett fell into the Sarlacc pit, but now this is in that situation of the character did have a death of sorts, which is a plausible death of kind of somehow escaping because this became a legend storyline, but he escaped later on so this was more of a behind the scenes opportunity thing than a planned planned return. Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, still dead. He never came back. Palpatine, obviously, he stayed dead until episode 9, and that was an opportunity thing where they wrote a reason for him that was not planned. Yeah, that was
more like
I know the infamous line, the somehow Palpatine returned. I know. Asajj is now, part of this list because I don't think this was planned, but I think this was an opportunity because she was a big character in the Clone Wars, and I think Lucasfilm didn't want to have her. Fine. I don't think Lucasfilm wants their books for popular characters. I don't think they want the books to be the final.
Oh yeah, no.
Final thing on a character. I don't think they want that anymore. At least I think they saw an opportunity. Like, we can tell some more stories with interest, so let's figure out a way to bring her back. So they did that. Spoilers, possibly this, as far as we know, because the show's not done yet. But Tech, as far as we know, is still dead.
Wait, Tech died?
Probably. My wife doesn't believe it, so I'm just gonna stick. She didn't even shed a tear when he fell. It's like,
he's not dead.
He's not dead.
He's coming back next week.
Obviously, he fell into a fog. No one dies from falling into a fog.
A fog.
He hit that fog, and then it was like, oh, and it broke his fall.
Yeah.
The fog broke his fall.
For Rebels, Gregor, he died. Now this I think falls into a weird category. Because this was Ahsoka. She died, but it was in the course of it was a planned thing because she was planned to be resurrected immediately because it was a Clone Wars episode. Wasn't it on Mortis? She died for she died for just a very short amount of time. She was resurrected.
Ahsoka?
Yeah, that's true.
Ahsoka's been dead several times.
Several.
Yeah, I was going to say
I only knew about the one time on Mortis. And then she did kind of have the new thing that happened in the show, the live action show, her little brush with death. But those were planned things.
Clone Wars, they resurrected her basically. She pretty much died.
Yeah.
Didn't they kill her in the Rebels too? Maybe or no?
It was the. Now I'll say that in my mind I think that was planned by Filoni from the get go.
Yeah, because he did have away in that.
He had that final shot of her walking back into the temple, and then they come back around for the World Between Worlds, and we see what happened was Ezra pulled her out, and then she went back at another area.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I think that was all planned. That falls in the plan. We're almost done.
Sky Knight, you're right. Savage Opress. Yep. Dead.
Oh yes, Savage Opress. Yep, that's one I missed. He is still dead. So now we're kind of getting into the shows a little bit. Quill, he is still dead.
Pour one out from a hole.
I think this was planned because of how it played out in the episode that it happened in. Fennec Shand, it seemed like she did die, but there was that little teaser thing at the end where you saw the footsteps walking toward her body. So I think that was planned from her introduction.
Yeah, I think so too.
Morgan Elsbeth, she is dead as far as we know now.
Oh yeah, I forgot, man.
Yeah. Bib Fortuna, he didn't last long.
Yeah.
Once Boba Fett came back, he didn't last long. This was a fake out death because we didn't find out for a whole episode, but Cobb Vanth, we were kind of left wondering if he had gotten killed by Cad Bane, and then we found out he almost did, I think, but he is healing. Cad Bane may or may not be dead because someone has pointed out, even though he had a very fatal stab wound. I think I saw someone point out that there's like some kind of monitor he has on him that didn't stop blinking. We're almost done. We are. Han Solo is dead. He's not coming back. Snoke is dead because he was a clone.
Don't say that. Han can come back. You never know.
He came back as a hallucination. Luke Skywalker. He is unfortunately dead.
Meat.
Thank you, Ryan Johnson. Holdo, she's not coming back.
No.
Leia Organa is dead because can't make a movie. You can't make a Leia story without Carrie Fisher, obviously. And the last one on the list, because as far as we know, this character has no intention to come, or the actor who plays him has no intention to come back and play the character either. But Ben Solo, he is dead. I don't think Adam Driver has any intention to ever come back and play the character again. I think he was done playing him after that. But that's for all the characters that actually did come back. They're like
it's only like 4. Not even a handful of people.
Yeah, well, I think on the list for the Star Wars characters, I think because I marked them, I think only 4 of them actually like fully had a comeback. 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think people maybe
it's an overblown thing to stick to a point that they want to make is if you bring back a character, you're cheapening the concept of death and stakes in a story. But I don't know. Yeah, there's also the idea I think of like there is a bit of wish fulfillment that comes in stories like this. Sometimes you just hope someone didn't die.
Yeah,
but anyway, so yeah, I just thought that'd be a fun little exercise to go through, and
no, I mean,
that's a good list. I was sitting there thinking because they've especially in the comics though. I even remember the big Superman returning, like dying and returning was a big deal.
Yeah, it was.
One more. Saw Gerrera and everybody in Rogue One. They're not coming back.
Oh yeah,
I forgot that entire movie.
Yeah,
nobody's coming back from that. It's like that's a movie that was made to not come back from.
That's what Andor told her when they were hugging.
I'm not coming back.
Boo. That's depressing.
It is.
Well, I guess on that note, we'll just wrap it for the week. Jesus,
all right.
It's dark.
Anything you want to suggest before we go?
Go see Ghostbusters, and go see the new Kong and Godzilla afterwards. You got to see Ghostbusters first, then go put your butt through a monster movie.
Catch up on the Bad Batch. Finally binge watched and caught up, and it's been fantastic. I've been loving this whole final season.
Amen.
All right, I'll tell you something not to do. The High Republic, man. God almighty, those books are just, I can't. I'm trying to read one right now. Convergence. And it is so hard to keep up with who's who.
Just too many
movies.
I haven't even gotten to that yet.
It's too many people.
I got to get back to it.
All righty.
All right. Peace,
Later
guys.
days.
Peace.